Hi guys, I'm sorry I'm gone today, but we do need to move on with section 1.5. So any questions that you have over the homework from yesterday or the homework I give today, I will answer those questions on Monday if we have time after our vocab quiz. And if we don't have time on Monday, I will definitely answer them on Tuesday. Please remember, next Thursday and Friday are your tests, so you should be preparing. So let's finish up section 1.5. I want to look at the back side of your 1.5 notes at a couple of problems. Now, this is the problem I want to work. If you look, it is right below that first example we did. Okay, right below the definition of angle bisector. But in my video, it's cut, so I have to read the instructions here, then I'll go to the next page where I'm going to show the work. So our instructions here say, in the diagram at the right, the measure of angle HKI equals 40 degrees. Find each of the following. So let's take a look at the whole problem. Okay, so here's the rest of the problem. We know that the measure of angle HKI is 48 degrees, and it's also marked that angle HKG is 90 degrees. Okay, so we know that's 90. So let's take a look here. The measure of angle HKG, or HKJ, excuse me, is what we're looking for. So HKJ, well, it just so happens that HKJ, this angle here, happens to form a linear pair with our 90-degree angle that we know. So I know that those two angles add together to 180 degrees. So I can take 180 degrees minus the 90-degree angle that I know, which gives me 90 degrees. So the measure of angle HKJ is 90 degrees. Let's see, what else do they want us to find? Let's see if I can erase what I have here. So we want to find the measure of angle IKJ. So the measure of angle IKJ, which is here, IKJ, so this angle. Well, that, if you notice what angle we had just previously found, we had previously found angle HKJ. All right, and angle HKJ is a 90-degree angle. So therefore, I can go ahead and say that I've got a 90-degree angle. I know this is 48-degree an angle, and this angle has to be the rest of it, basically. These two angles, this guy here, this guy there, have to be complementary angles. So if they're complementary, they add up to 90 degrees, and so I can take 90 minus 48. Oops, that's supposed to be 48 degrees. 90 minus 48 degrees is going to equal 42 degrees. So that is then the measure of angle IKJ. All right, so we found a lot of good stuff here. Let's see if they'll let me erase this up here. Perfect. Okay, so let's see, we know we have that 90-degree angle. It's already marked for us. We know this is 42 degrees, so I'm going to write that in there as well. Now we're looking for the measure of angle FKG. So FKG is this angle up here. And if I look here, I know that our angle FKG that we're looking for plus this 90-degree angle plus this 48-degree angle ends up forming this straight angle FKI. So in order to find this angle down here, in order to find this guy, I can go ahead and take 180 degrees minus 90 minus 48. And that happens to give me 42 degrees. So that's the measure of angle FKG. Okay, so we have found another of our angles. This is 42 degrees. Let's see, they want us to find the measure of angle FKH. Well, FKH is this angle here. So again, if we use the angle addition postulate, you see that the measure of angle FKH is going to be our 42 degree angle plus our 90 degree angle. So 42 plus 90 equals 132. They now want us to find the measure of angle FKJ. Let's see, they let me erase that. Nope, all of a sudden I got locked out of erasing stuff. All right, that's okay. So let's see here. FKJ, that is, let me trace it here. That is this angle up here. Now remember, in this class, we are only measuring the interior of angles. So I want to know this rotation. That's the angle measure I'm looking for. So probably the easiest way to do that would be, again, to look at the straight angle formed here, angle FKI. So I know that's a straight angle, so I know it measures 180 degrees. So if I take 180 degrees and subtract out this 42 degree angle, I'm going to be left with the angle I'm looking for. So 180 minus 42 is going to give me 138 degrees. That is then the measure of angle FKJ. And lastly, we have the measure of angle GKI. So GKI, I'll make this outline real big here. So GKI is that angle there. And to find that one, we again, you see it's formed by the 90 degree angle and the 48 degree angle. So we're going to add those together. (90 plus 48) equals 138. So that is the measure of angle GKI. Okay, so let's try some other examples. We have two more examples here. Let's try this first one. There's a little bit more algebra involved with these guys. And of course, we could have shown algebra with the last examples. It was just much faster just to use our solid numbers rather than writing out all the angles for the purposes of this video anyways. So, taking a look at this example, we have that, and this should say ray QR bisects angle PQS. Solve for x and find the measure of angle PQS. So, if our ray bisects the angle, we've talked about an angle bisector, that means that it is dividing that big angle into two congruent angles. So we know for a fact that the measure of angle, actually let me start even farther back than that. We know that angle PQR is congruent to angle RQS. We know that from our definition of an angle bisector, and so therefore our definition of congruent angles tells us that angle PQR equals the measure of angle RQS. And since that's true, we then know that 3x equals 4x minus 9. 3x equals 4x minus 9. And so all we need to do now is solve for x. So there's my equal sign. So I need to get my x's together, so I will subtract 4x from both sides. So if I take 3x minus 4x, oh man, that gives me a negative 1x. And that equals negative 9. Well, now, the problem is I don't care what negative x equals. I want to know what positive x equals. So I've got to get rid of the negative sign by dividing both sides by a negative 1. So that cancels out, and I left with x equals 9. So there's our value of x. So next, we want to find the measure of angle PQS, and please look closely at that, what we're finding. PQS is, in fact, this large angle. PQS. So we could find it multiple ways. One way you could find that is by simply finding the easier of the two small angles. For example, the measure of angle PQR is 3x, so therefore it's just simply 3 times 9, or 27. And so then you would know that it's going to be 27 here, it's going to be 27 there, so all you'd have to do is add together 27. So we can find out what the answer should be, but I want to practice the algebra right now. So I am going to say, using our angle addition postulate, that the measure of angle PQS equals the measure of angle PQR plus the measure of angle RQS. Now again, I told you the reason I do that is for our future work. Okay, work we're going to be doing in the upcoming chapter. The better you know how to do these equations and write with these symbols, the easier that will be. So that's why I try to show it to you as often as possible. So finishing this up, we have the measure of angle PQS equals, let's see, the measure of angle PQR was the 3x, plus the measure of angle RQS is the 4x minus 9. So I can combine these like terms, giving me 7x minus 9. And so now I substitute in 7 times 9 minus 9. So the measure of angle PQS equals 7 times 9 is going to give us 63. 63 minus 9 is going to give us 54 degrees. Which of course it's 54 degrees because we, like I said, we could have just taken 27 plus 27, which is 54. All right, one last problem I want to look at. Right below this guy, we have this guy. So we are solving for x and finding the measure of angle HAT, the measure of angle hat. All right, so we have the measure of angle MAH equals 3x plus 2, and the measure of angle hat equals 2x minus 12. And the big key here is that this angle MAT, the measure of angle MAT, is 90 degrees. That entire angle MAT is 90 degrees. So I can write the equation that the measure of angle MAH, or MAH, plus the measure of angle HAT, or hat, equals the measure of angle MAT, or MAT. Okay, so plugging in what I know, the measure of angle MAH is 3x plus 2, plus the measure of angle HAT is 2x minus 12, and that then equals our 90-degree angle. So we can go ahead and combine like terms, because again, here's the equal sign. So anything that's on the same side, all you have to do is combine it. So we get 5x. And then here we have 2 plus a negative, or minus 12, I should say, plus a negative 12, gives me a negative 10. That equals 90. So I add 10 to both sides to cross that line, cross my equal sign. So then 5x equals 100. And I divide both sides by 5 again to cross that line, solve for x. So then x equals 20. So there's our value of x. And we plug that back in to find the measure of angle HAT. Because again, always pay attention to which angle they're asking you to find. Always read directions. So the measure of angle HAT is 2 times x, which is 20, minus 12. So this is 40 minus 12, which gives us 28 degrees. Okay, good luck on your homework. I will answer questions on this and yesterday's homework after our vocab quiz on Monday.